going on, dudes and dudettes? Yep, got people playing music around here, so hopefully it doesn't distract you guys. But yes, 4-star guard Trey White has committed to USC the other day. I saw some of his highlights. He looked pretty good. Not as athletic as people were saying he was, unless he just didn't show it, but a good shooter as well. Looks like he's between that 6'6", 6'8" area right now. So doesn't look like he's going to be an automatic impact, but eventually after a year or two should be pretty good. So looking forward to that. And yes, both Duke and USC play tomorrow. They officially start their season mañana on Tuesday, which is pretty cool. Duke obviously is going to play against Kentucky in a big matchup on ESPN around 6 o'clock California time, so that'll be pretty cool to see. And then I'm pretty sure USC plays later against excuse me, a pretty local Southern California school in CSUN, or other people might know it as California State University of Northridge. So a pretty nice matchup there. They're pretty good in their West Coast Conference, so hopefully USC is prepared and ready to go. Should be a fun one to see, most likely later in the day as well, so hopefully I'll be able to watch both highlights eventually. Then yes, the Chargers were pretty much the only team I was able to talk about after our last video, but yes, they did get the victory out there in Philadelphia against the Eagles. They ended up winning by a late field goal by their pretty much new kicker, Dustin Hopkins, and they won 27-24. I would just wish that they would have, clocked the ball when they were killing time, like with less time. But of course, after he kicks it, there's 2 seconds left, so you have to wait for that kick return, see and hope that nothing happens badly for your team, and luckily it didn't. So I was definitely happy about that. They definitely needed this because a lot of teams, from what I was seeing yesterday, a lot of teams struggled, and especially in the AFC where we're kind of all have similar records right now. So I don't know how they're going to figure all that stuff out when it comes to playoffs, but as long as you get the victories now and start trending in the better direction, I think we'll be fine. So that's all we could hope for right now. And Justin Herbert, of course, he went off after the past couple of performances. I think the last 2 games total, he had a little over 400 yards together combined in 2 games, but this one game yesterday, he went 32 for 38, so almost 80 plus percentage-wise completion rate, then 356 yards through the air, along with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So definitely played a lot better. This is just weird how he could play that good and the Chargers still barely win by a late field goal. I know people will admire all the stats, but I still think they should be killing these teams if he's that good at not turning the ball over. But hopefully this is a step in the right direction, as I mentioned, and they get Minnesota next week, who's been playing the last 2 games pretty hard, so hopefully they could get the victory against a tough Minnesota team. And then both the Anaheim Ducks and ex-great, one of my favorite Duck players, Teemu Selanne, congratulated Ryan Getzlaf, who is a player right now for the Anaheim Ducks with I believe he passed the most career goals as Anaheim Duck pretty recently. I didn't really care about it because they've been losing still a lot, so I don't want to give him that much credit. But if Teemu Selanne was there and congratulating him, then I guess it's all good. So I'll talk about, anytime to talk about Selanne, I'm all about that. But yeah, I guess congrats Getzlaf. You've been there a while and, still only one title to show for it, I guess. Then, yes, this report from Eric Pincus, Bleacher Report, was saying that the Lakers regret letting Caruso go. I've been saying this ever since. They didn't want to match the deal because they wanted to keep Talen Horton-Tucker, and Tucker is a guy who hasn't even played this entire year so far and probably won't return until either later this month or even middle of next month in December. And Caruso is just thriving with the Chicago Bulls right now. It's amazing what they're able to do. They have one of the better records, not only in the Eastern Conference, but the whole NBA. I think they're top 5 record-wise in the NBA. So it's obvious when you have a guy as talented as Caruso, who's not putting up crazy numbers, but still a little bit better numbers because he is getting more playing time, and with all those talented guys around him, they're gelling pretty well, which is nice to see. So really happy for him. But definitely. Lakers, this is what happens when you don't listen. Then I guess we're hearing some bad news about offensive coordinator for USC, Graham Harrell, because I kind of assumed he was going to be a shoo-in for the Texas Tech coaching vacancy, but apparently they went with an assistant from Baylor instead of going for him, who, you know, Harrell went to school there, graduated, did a lot of good stuff for them. I don't know. I guess he still has a chance at Washington State University, who recently let go their head coach, and he assisted coached there as well. I'm just trying to get rid of Harrell because I don't like the system that he's running. It works for other players at lower level schools like a North Texas and Washington State, but it just doesn't work at USC with the type of players they have. You need ground and pound plays down the field, and the two quarterback system that they have right now is horrible. I'll get into that soon, but yeah, it's just horrible. And then yes, as I mentioned, LeBron James. I remember I told you that I know it said 1 week when I talked to you guys, but he likes to take his time and, you know, really push how long it takes for him to come back. And of course, I don't know if this is the reason why this guy who mentioned this is an ex-Lakers like training facility doctor or something like that, but he did say that with the type of injury that LeBron has, that he could be out at least 1 month to 2 months. So he probably won't even return till the end of December, which it just goes to show I just thought LeBron was just staying away so he could have the holidays with his kids, but apparently it's just because it's a more serious injury than any of us thought, or it could just be LeBron trying to get Frank Vogel fired as usual, trying to get, you know, the assistant the head coaching job. So I don't know. We'll find out, but like I said, it's most likely going to be a lot longer than 1 freaking week. Then, yes, speaking of those pesky Lakers, yes, the last game since I spoke to you, they went over to Portland, ended up losing. I stopped watching like around halftime because it was like a 20 to 30 point losing effort that they were putting up, and then Davis went out with some type of illness and all this other stuff, and yeah, they ended up losing 105-90 on the road, which isn't good against a Western Conference team, but that's just how the Lakers are right now with no LeBron. And then also USC, yes, they had a lot of chances. Their defense finally stepped up, did a lot of takeaways against ASU, who for some reason was struggling, but once again, USC's offense could not keep up. And once again, like I mentioned, they started doing this 2 quarterback system where it wasn't as consistent. This time it was like, okay, you get 2 or 3 drives here, then the other guy will get 4 or 5 drives, and then when another guy is supposed to go out, then he can't go out because he has something wrong with his hand, and it throws off everybody's rhythm, especially those quarterbacks, because they combine for like maybe 200 yards throwing and 1 interception. Jackson Dart, the freshman, had a rushing touchdown, but yeah, I don't know what it is. It looked like a 2-score loss, but they ended up giving up a late score, so it's technically a 1-score loss in my opinion. So they definitely had opportunities to win this game. They just squandered them and were idiots as usual. Well, I can't blame the players as much. I wouldn't want to play or feel as motivated with the type of coaching staff that Clay Helton put around. So once again, hopefully they find the right coach, right coaching staff, build up a better culture, maybe get rid of some players that shouldn't be there. I know Helton always got recruits, but a lot of times there were a lot of 3-star guys, so they weren't as talented, which is probably why even after 2 to 3 years, they haven't really progressed or gotten better as well. So, and yes, of course, I have a bunch of noise and children outside. Hopefully May doesn't start barking, but yes, luckily this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.